Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese are not the same. Both had their homecoming celebrations this weekend. One of them sold out in 27 minutes. The other one couldn't give away free tickets.
The day Angel Reese was ignored in her own hometown, while Caitlin Clark captivated all of America. Sometimes you don't need stats, expert panels, or polished PR campaigns to see the truth. You just need to look around. Empty seats can say more than any Instagram story ever could. And that's exactly what happened when Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky returned to Baton Rouge, the very place that once made her a national icon. She called herself the Bayou Barbie. She proudly proclaimed that she brought eyes to women's basketball. She wore the crown of NCAA champion and stood tall as a social media powerhouse. But when the WNBA sent her back home, back to LSU, the place where she raised a championship trophy, those eyes were gone. The 13,000-seat Pete Maravich Assembly Center was barely half full. Just 6,300 fans showed up. And that number is generous. A place that once shook when Reese danced with the NCAA title in hand was now silent, cold, and empty.
Nobody showed up to this sucker. Nobody. Let me just blow this. Look at that. I noticed it right off the bat. Look, number one, look at all the purple seats down here in this lower bowl section. And then the entire top bowl, forget about it. Forget about it.
It was supposed to be her moment, her glorious homecoming. A night where you'd expect the building to explode with love, with nostalgia, with admiration for a hometown hero. But instead, entire sections sat deserted. Upper levels were never even opened. Tickets for $15 were untouched on the resale market. Free tickets were handed out like flyers, and still, people stayed away. The most painful part? Even after all that, thousands of seats remained empty, and when cameras panned across the crowd, there was no buzz, no wave, just rows of blue and yellow plastic seats, staring blankly back. Angel Reese once said she was the reason people watched women's basketball. But on this night, people were clearly watching something, or someone else. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark, a rookie, only months into her WNBA career, and she's already changing the game. Her preseason games aren't warm-ups, they're events, cultural moments, happenings. Tickets for her first home game in Iowa sold out in just 27 minutes. Thousands flooded the website trying to get in. The demand was higher than for some NBA games. Fans were paying hundreds of dollars on the resale market. Not for a playoff, not for the finals, but for a meaningless preseason game. That's not hype. That's madness. That's star power. The contrast couldn't be clearer. Angel Reese came home, and barely anyone noticed. Caitlin Clark steps into any arena, and the whole state shows up. That's why everyone's talking about Caitlin Clark. The images from Baton Rouge went viral, unfortunately for Reese. You saw empty blocks, empty rows, no buzz, no excitement, no echo of past glory. TV cameras had to get creative. There were no wide shots, no sweeping pans, just tight frames, so you wouldn't see the crowd. But the truth couldn't be hidden. Social media was ruthless. Photos of empty seats filled the timeline. Tweets like, "Is this a home game or a ghost town?" racked up thousands of likes. While Reese celebrated her homecoming, the silence was deafening. And it wasn't for lack of effort. The return was promoted. LSU posted. The WNBA shared. The media covered it. There were banners, nostalgia reels, tribute videos. But when it was time to show up, no one did. No electricity, no welcome. No proof that the Bayou Barbie was still a hometown star. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark looked like a rock star on tour. And that's not an exaggeration. The Indiana Fever released a t-shirt that read, "Every game is a home game." On the back, a tour list of every arena she'd play in. Like it was a world tour.
Now, what I also think is hilarious is that they took that a step further. So if you go to the team store, the Indiana Fever's team store, you will see that they have a brand new t-shirt that they are selling. And that t-shirt says, "Every game is a home game." And then on the back, it says, "Now you know," with a sold out banner with all of their basically schedule. It's like a tour t-shirt and it says, "Every game is a home game."
And honestly, it feels like one. Other teams are relocating their games because their usual arenas are too small when Clark's in town. In places like Las Vegas, New York, Connecticut, ticket prices soar the second Clark's bus pulls up. Merch sales skyrocket. Stadiums sell out. The league is riding a high it hasn't felt in decades. And it's Caitlin Clark who sparked all of it. She doesn't talk much about herself. She lets others talk and lets the numbers speak. Her jersey is a top seller. Her social media numbers are exploding. Her games are now being shown in prime time. She's not a marketing creation. She's a phenomenon. Back to Angel Reese. To her credit, she's a college champion, a strong personality, a fighter. But when it comes to reach, when it comes to real influence, she's not what she claims to be. Baton Rouge proved that. Because when you can't fill a gym in your own hometown, you have to ask yourself, are you really the reason people tune in?
Yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
Because while Reese talks about attention, Caitlin Clark creates it. That's not an insult. It's a reality. One you can measure in numbers, in volume, in energy. When Clark steps on the floor, you hear the crowd. When Reese does, you often just hear the arena announcer. This isn't just about a game. It's about symbolism. Angel Reese had a chance to send a message in Baton Rouge. Instead, the city sent one back. The flame she once lit has gone dim. And while she tries to reignite it, Clark has already launched fireworks. One talks the talk, the other walks the walk. One couldn't give tickets away. The other sells out arenas in under 30 minutes. And maybe that's the biggest takeaway from this weekend. Being a star isn't something you call yourself. It's something people prove with their time, their money, their passion. Angel Reese won't disappear. She'll keep fighting, and that's good because competition elevates the game. But when it comes to star power, to ticket sales, to real influence, Caitlin Clark is everything the WNBA has been waiting for. And you don't see that in headlines. You see it in seats. And Angel Reese had far too many of them empty. But let's dig deeper. This isn't just about sports. It's about how the public decides who it wants to follow. Reese has made headlines for her brash style, her confidence, her unapologetic attitude. Some loved it, others were turned off. But when the excitement dies down, when the microphones are turned off, and the court lights fade, who do people pay to see? Clark, by comparison, stays quiet, but her game speaks volumes. She doesn't need drama. She doesn't need to poke the bear. She's the one setting the standard, and others are chasing. There's another layer. Reese often frames herself as a cultural icon, but icons fill buildings. Icons move merchandise. Icons transcend the moment. Right now, Caitlin Clark is the icon. From Iowa to Indiana, from preseason to playoffs, Clark has turned every game into a spectacle. It's not just about how she plays, it's how people react to her. Kids wear her jersey, parents bring their daughters to see her, entire families make road trips just for a glimpse. Reese? She's still finding her footing, and she might. But Baton Rouge was a wake-up call. Not just for her, but for anyone who believed she'd already reached that status. The truth is, fame is fleeting. Impact lasts. Reese was famous. Clark is impactful, and the WNBA knows it. That's why networks are adjusting schedules. That's why ticket offices are overwhelmed. That's why merchandise is flying off shelves. Clark is doing what no one has done for women's basketball in a generation. Make it must-watch. And what's most powerful? She's doing it without saying a word. Meanwhile, Reese is still talking about what she's done, about what she's owed, about who she thinks she is. But while she talks, Clark builds. This is not about tearing one woman down to lift another up. It's about reality, about the scoreboard off the court. Right now, Clark is winning there too. And that scoreboard, it doesn't lie. That's it for the video, guys. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time.